Hi, my name is Gray from Grow Thickly, and over here we have Root Mana, which is basically a soil conditioning fertilizer enhancer. So it has prebiotics and postbiotics for root health. What we have done is we formulated this to really help with acclimatizing plants when we import them. So over here we have two orchids. I think they might be a little bit too wet. So we are going to use this to help to improve its root health, and we are going to put them on the GrowPole 3.0 as well. So to use this, basically you need to dilute it. So this little packet actually makes 1,000 liters of this stuff. So let's open it. The instruction is to dilute it until it's a tea colored. We are not very particular about what kind of tea it is, so long as it looks like the kind of tea that you drink. So the reason why we are not that concerned with the concentration is because this is mostly a natural product, and it's also designed to stay inside the substrate and continue to help with your plant growth for quite a long time. So if I could just get this open, we can get started. So what you want to do is to pour a little bit of it into a tray. Well, you could put it directly into your watering can, but that's going to be harder to observe the color. All you need is a very small amount of it, okay? Because this really is able to be diluted a lot. So you can see that we put a very small amount of it in there. I'm going to add some water to it. And it forms this brown color. And this is the color that we want. We could add a little bit more water to it as well. And with that, we can hydrate some moss and start migrating them to the GrowPole. So we are using GrowPole 3.0 over here. I think it's a little bit more suited for orchid because it's front opening, which allows the very meaty roots of the orchid to be able to go in easily. So you just gotta cut this open. By the way, the packaging on the GrowPole is certified home compostable, which means that it will break down and actually enrich the soil if you put it into a composter, and it doesn't require a commercial composter to actually break this down. So what we're going to do is just easily fold the edges. We want to just fold it about 90 degrees, nothing too precise, just don't fold it onto itself completely flat. That tends to overstress the plastic, which can make it less durable. So with the GrowPole 3.0, what you want to do is to start clipping it in from the center. So this keeps the pole really balanced on both sides in terms of the pressure. If we were to actually start from the edges, then it will want to tend to open like this. Then you are using a lot of effort to get the next one in and the next one in. So this is not what we want. Start from the middle, and then it becomes so much easier to get the rest of them done. So over here we have the soil anchors that we use for our extension system, and we also use this basically to prevent the pole from leaning forward when we are using this on philodendrons and monsteras. But because orchids are pretty light and you might want to hang an orchid up, so what we do is that we fold it in instead. As usual, don't overstress the plastic, just simply fold it in, and then from there we can open up a bit of the GrowPole at the center, and we can put the moss in from here, so that makes it a lot less messy compared to the second generation pole. Once you have filled up the pole, you can close it back. And what you want to do is to open the higher section, and this is where the orchid will actually go in. So let's leave this here for now, and we remove the orchid from its original pot. Okay, so we can see the roots over here, some healthy roots, and you can see a fungus net over here, which means that it's a little bit on the moist side of things. So we want to put the orchid into this. So this is how it looks like from the back. And what you want to do now is to stuff more moss in to secure the orchid into the GrowPole. It's a bit of a windy day to be doing this outside. So now that we have packed it with moss, what I'm going to do is to close the GrowPole in the front. Okay, so you want to tilt the orchid inwards and add even more moss from the top. You could use one of the sticks that is commonly used that comes with orchids to keep the flowering spike upright, to basically pack it in. You want it to be firm enough to hold the orchid in place, but not so tight that it blocks out all the air, and that's when you get anaerobic conditions which causes root rot. And with that, we are done with this one. It's ready to go back into its original pot. And this one is done. And if you notice, the water is still almost tea colored, even though we added more water, because the root mana is basically a very strong concentrate. It took us a while to develop it to such a concentration, and the reason is because we don't want to be shipping around what basically is water. You can get water from your place, from your tap. There's no reason for us to be burning fuel just to ship that around the world. So you're just gonna squeeze it down, and when it expands, it's going to absorb more of that nice root mana into the moss. So I'm going to change this to a time lapse so it doesn't take as much time. So you can see the condensation that's inside the GrowPole 3.0, and that really goes to show that it maintains a very high humidity inside the pole, which is what a lot of epiphytes really enjoy over here as well. So this one we put in moss that is slightly drier, and you can see the roots on the orchid. And there are many orchids that photosynthesize with their roots, so that really, the clear back of the GrowPole 3.0 really helps with that. So this is 3 of the orchids over here that are put on the GrowPole, and I think they are going to grow much more robustly and look very good at the same time.